Hello everyone, this is Augustine Mwita from the Business Intelligence Agency. This is our 34th tutorial in this series, and this part of the tutorial we're going to discuss on configurations. Configurations simply refer to settings. So we're going to discuss on the variety of settings that we can do here in this application. So previously we've already interacted with some configurations, especially on the sales arena. The sales arena part, you can see that there is configuration that we talked about. These are user-centric configurations. They apply to the current user. So we also came to the where else? Yeah, also came to the payment section. And there were these configurations here about auto-approved. We talked about auto-approved. We talked about return change. And we talked, the only thing that we never talked about is about comment. So comment, if you want to add a comment on payment, to simply put comment on, then rate your comment. But when it is off, you don't have to set the comments. Yeah. So that's the only thing that we are not talked about here. Then back on the credits and debit side, we also have configuration. The only configuration that we can see here right now is the auto approve configuration is off, so you can turn it back on, meaning that wherever you perform a credit or a debit, that transaction will be automatically approved. Yeah. So the other configurations, in order to access them, you go to these top 3 buttons, then settings, then configurations. So we've got 2 types of configurations. We've got the business configurations, which apply to all the users in the business. And we've got user configurations, which apply to only a particular user, to the current user that has set them. But the business configurations apply to all the users in that business. So let us check on the business configurations. So the first configuration is sync location. Sync location, the purpose, wherever you want to change your current business GPS location, you press the sync location button on. So wherever it is on, it will scan for your current GPS location and save it automatically. Then you go to the auto and received orders. So wherever you receive orders from other businesses, though that part has not yet been well reinforced, but in the future, that you just get to interact with it. So for now, I can just skip that setting. Then there's cast as expenses. We talked about casting as casting used and spoiled items as expenses. So wherever you make a used or a spoiled item, wherever this setting is on, meaning that wherever a used or a spoiled item has been, that transaction has been made, it will automatically also be cast as an expense. So wherever this value is on, it simply means it will apply to all the users who are making either who are making such expenses, who are making either used and spoiled items transactions under expenses. The next transaction is a hide financial transaction of deleted user accounts. So you may want to hide calculations or transactions for deleted users, either in credits and debits or payments or account balances or financial statements. So in order to hide the account balances of the users that you have deleted, simply turn on this setting about hide deleted users finances. Then you've got lock intra-business orders prices, meaning that when this setting is on, a person who makes intra-business orders cannot change prices. But wherever it is off, it simply means that a person who makes the inter-business orders has got an opportunity to alter the prices. So by default, this setting is on. A person making an inter-business order cannot alter the prices. Then next, we've got lock sales prices. Wherever this setting is turned on, it simply means wherever a person is making sales cannot bargain with the customer. The default price will be used. So by default, it's set off, allowing a person making sales to bargain with the customer and change prices to favor the business and the customer. So, but wherever this setting is on, it simply means that the person making the sales cannot alter the password. The saved password, no, as in cannot alter the prices. The set prices are the ones that must be used for doing the sales. Yeah. So by default, this setting is usually turned off. Next, there's a locked past transaction. So what do we mean by locking past transactions? So there are two major types of privileges in this information system. We've got super users who have got the privileges to do everything in a business, and we've got our own custom roles that you can create. For these custom roles, for example, you can decide to create a role about a salesperson or a human resource manager, but we'll talk about that later. So wherever we put this setting on to lock past transaction, it simply means that once a person who is not a super user performs transaction, for example, if that person performs sales or payments or credits and debits, after the day goes, that person cannot come back and alter those transactions. Only the super users will be able to alter transactions whose dates have passed. So I really hope you've understood the meaning of locking past dates transactions. Whatever it is on, the users who are not super users will not be able to alter transactions that they performed in a day that is not the current date's transaction. No, yeah. Then the next setting is print on disbursement of pending Ibis orders. We talked about on this setting, whereby whatever it is on, wherever a person makes an order, an order will also be printed automatically. Then whatever it is off, meaning that whenever a person makes a new order, that order won't be printed automatically. Then there's another setting that's talk about print outgoing Ibis orders. Print outgoing Ibis orders. Print outgoing Ibis orders is exactly what I was talking about previously. I had confused these two settings. So print outgoing Ibis orders means that wherever a person makes an order will be printed. But print on disbursement of pending Ibis order simply means that whatever this setting is on, a receipt will be generated each and every time a new order is being disbursed. A receipt will be generated. Yeah, that's the difference between these two: printing an order and printing a receipt. Yeah. Then the next, there's a delete manual payment on sell delete, meaning that wherever we make a sale and we get prompted to make payment, then we make payment to that sale. Then wherever we delete that sale, that payment will also be automatically be deleted. Same applies to wherever an auto payment has been set to on. Wherever we make sales and auto payment is on, the value of the amount worth those sales will be automatically paid. And wherever we delete a sale that whose payment was done automatically, then the payment will also be deleted automatically. But in a case where you did the payment manually and this setting is on, wherever you delete that sale, then that payment will also be deleted. So that's the meaning of auto delete manual payments. By default is set to on. Then there's another setting, allows selling items that are out of stock. For some businesses, for example, in a hotel business, the stock in the system usually do run out depending on the number of orders that are coming in. So each and every time we process an order, each and every time we make an order to a counter of a hotel, the counter disburses that order to the waiter, to the waitress that made that order. So sometimes adding a stock each and every time may be tiresome and time consuming to the counter. So we may decide just to put this setting off, as in to put this setting on, that will allow us to sell items that are even out of stock. For example, if we've got 0 items out of stock and this setting is on, we will be able to sell items that are out of stock. We'll do this later practically. Then there is select target customer when making Ibis orders. This simply means wherever this setting is on, a user will be able to select the person making that order. By default, wherever you're making an order, your default account is being used to make that order. But when this setting is turned on, it simply means each and every time before you make an order, you'll be flagged to choose from whom is that order coming from. We'll do an experiment later using this account or using this setting so that you can understand better. Then next there's selecting the default receipt paper size. So by default is 58 millimeters. You may also to set the 8 millimeters paper size depending on the type of receipt printer that you are using, or the POS receipt printer that you are using. Then next there is a setting about price for used and spoiled items. I talked about this later, where, for example, an item has spoiled or an item has been used. You may want to cast that value as an expense. So here you decide which value do you want to use, either the retail price or the buying price of that item. Which one do you use to be cast? Which one do you want to be casted automatically as an expense wherever you use the items or they get spoiled? So let me set it back to a retail price. Yeah. Then lastly, we've got the business day start at setting. So by default, the business day is set to start at 24 hours midnight. But depending on the type of business that you are running, you've got an opportunity or a privilege to set when the transactions of each particular day starts and when they end. For example, you can't use this setting that your business day starts at 24 hours in the midnight while you are doing a clubbing business, because a clubbing business at that time at night is when we do business. So for example, if we're working on a club, we would have decided to set our business day to start at, for example, 3 hours in the morning. No, not 3 hours, around 9 hours in the morning, meaning that our business day will start from 9 hours in the morning, and it will end in the next day at 8:59 hours in the morning. So as from 9 hours in the morning till the next day, 8:59 hours in the morning, that will be counted as the same day. And all the transactions that will happen in between those hours, all of them will be put in the same day. So I really hope you've understood by all these settings. So we'll come back later. I'll show you some of the examples of what I mean by of what I really meant while talking about these settings. So for now, let us just stop, but we'll stop after I've saved these settings. So let us meet in the next tutorial where we shall focus on some of these settings and we'll work on them practically. Okay, thank you. Let us meet in the next tutorial.